So, see any good moves lately? Welcome back to See Any Good Moves Lately. I'm your host, Joey Oberding, and today we're talking about week 3 of Big Brother and everything that is happening in Big Brother 27. And here to join me is the wonderful, the individual, the one, the only. Say it if you know it. We have Addie. How are you doing, Addie?
I'm doing pretty good, pretty good. Excited to be here. Um, it's- you waited till Big Brother season to bring me on, but that's fine. That's fine.
My apologies. I will bring you on for all the reality shows in the future. And I'm sorry about that. But I do have to ask Addie, because you are here on the Big Brother show. I have to ask, what are your thoughts on Big Brother 27 so far? And maybe even what are your thoughts on Big Brother in general?
So this is my first season watching Big Brother.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah, I've seen some episodes here and there. I've tried to binge Big Brother before, and that did not last long.
Yeah.
Um, but I've made a lot of friends that are Big Brother fans, and so they've kind of got me into it, and I'm enjoying the season. Um, it's definitely a different show that, like, a lot of people are like, oh, if you like Survivor, for Big Brother's the same thing, and it's not. It's very much not, but it's enjoyable, I would say. The season, I'm pretty like I don't have a baseline. Like, this is the baseline for me. So
Yeah.
I um there are some parts of it that I like and some that I don't. I think that the edited show is interesting at times. I don't know if the challenges are the most interesting, but I am enjoying watching.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you because this is your baseline. You've tried Big Brother before, but you've never really locked into Big Brother before. How does this compare to Survivor? Like, is this better than Survivor? Probably not. Is it worse than Survivor? And in terms of Survivor, where would you rank it in terms of, like, I don't know how many seasons of Survivor you've seen, but like how good is it basically? Is it good? Is Big Brother good? That's the question I'm asking.
Is Big Brother good?
It's a loaded question, I understand.
I think the concept of Big Brother is good.
Yeah.
Um, it's going to be hard for anything to top Survivor for me. I love
Sure.
Survivor. I've watched almost all the seasons. And so if this would be like this is on like with a mid tier, lower mid tier season of Survivor for me.
Yeah.
Um, not, but Survivor is great. Like, all Survivor is good Survivor with like one season of exception.
Hmm.
Um, and so like a mid tier thing is not bad. I enjoy reality TV. I enjoy social deduction and I enjoy social strategy. And so, like,
Yeah.
Brother has that.
Yeah. I kind of feel similarly to you. This is now my third full season of Big Brother that I'm watching. And honestly, like, I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm having a good time. I'm still doing this podcast. I told myself once I start disliking or not enjoying myself, then I'll switch to something else and talk about that instead. But hey, I'm still here. I'm still enjoying it. And it's interesting, I think, probably having this season as a baseline because in many ways, this is probably one of the more quote unquote chaotic seasons because there's really not like a power structure going on. Like, they have these alliances and stuff, but it still kind of feels like everyone's just kind of floating around and waiting for something more solid to take root. Like, we're a month into the game now, basically at this point, and there are like people who are certainly in better positions than other people, and certainly people who
Mhm.
are more tightly aligned with other people. But at the same time, it's like I don't see too many like final two deals that I believe are real and stuff like that. So I think it's interesting. I'm enjoying it. I do think the season could certainly potentially ramp up once we get that structure, or it could fall apart. But we will see. So there are a lot of people on this season, Addie, and because of that lack of power structure, I still kind of think the best way to go about talking about all the people is to just go about them individually. But before we do, I do want to ask you, Addie. This last week was the week The Reign of Lauren. And I just wanted to ask you, what do you think about it?
I I was initially excited because Lauren is on the opposite side of power than Jimmy, on the opposite vague, free-flowing grouping. It's and so I thought that we might see some different people on the block and then see some different conversations happening. And then we didn't.
Yeah.
I think that Lauren wasn't willing to rock the boat and or make decisions. Like she liked the idea of power, but not actually being in power.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my generic thought of it, like the overall overarching.
No, I think that's a very like true and accurate read. I think like the way that Lauren, and we'll get into her more when we talk about her personally and individually, but just in general with Lauren and the way that she was playing, it's very like her play style up until she became HOH was very, I am here and I'm just kind of waiting for things to happen to me in a sense. You know, she's kind of playing the middle. She's letting other people take initiative, and that's a perfectly valid strategy. But then she wins HOH, and all of a sudden, like, you know, all the eyes are on her, but she still wants to play the same, you know, sort of like, you know, I want to be in the background intentionally. But it's hard to do that when you do have the power. I think I can understand why she felt pressured to make the safest nominations possible, even though most of that pressure was you know herself, in a sense, just kind of saying this is the way I should be playing. Um, so yeah, I don't think it was great, but I think it was better than say Jimmy's HOH from the week prior, which was not good. And we'll see where it falls in the big list of the best HOHs as the season continues. So yeah.
Yeah, I would say overall the seasons had weak HOHs. Like they're not. I don't think we've seen someone take advantage of the power yet of being head of household yet. So
Yeah, it feels like nobody wants power. Like everybody's just kind of trying to push other people to be like, yeah, you do it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, 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 you're making the decision. I'm just here. So
yeah, I even think of one quote from this week where Lauren was like, "We need to keep Kelly because Kelly's willing to make the moves we want to."
yeah.
Something along those lines where it's like,
And when you're putting your faith into Kelly, I think that's really saying something about sort of the state of the game right now. So yeah. With that in mind, let's start getting into some of these people because I want to know your thoughts as somebody who's not seen Big Brother before, because I'm sure you are very confused, as I am too. All right, let's do it. Let's start with Ashley. This is a new graphic. It's alphabetical, but we're gonna go up to down because I like it more that way. But let's start with Ashley. What do you think about Ashley so far, Addie?
I want Ashley in the house as long as possible because I want to keep seeing the social blunders.
Yeah.
I don't like Ashley's kind of interesting to me because she has these allies that are going to bat for her.
Yeah.
That she is like, we can vote them out. And she says she's just very socially unaware, would be my gauge from what I've watched.
Yeah. Ashley is fascinating to me. The first like 2 weeks of the game, I was like, what is she doing? She does not know anything about being here. She should go. She doesn't know to play Big Brother. And now we're like 2 more weeks in, and I'm like, she's awesome. I want her to stay as long as possible. I want to see her pitch her case to the jury at the end. I want her to be in the final 2. And I don't know if I want her to win. I don't know if I'm quite there yet. But I love somebody who's socially unaware. Like it's great. Like it's so fantastic because part of me almost thinks Ashley is doing it intentionally. Like this girl's like a lawyer, she's super smart, you know, all that stuff. And I think in a sense, like last week when Lauren was, you know, trying to figure out if she wanted to put up Adrian or Ashley as the replacement nomination, she went to Lauren and she was like, "You're not putting me up. I know you're not putting me up, but like, I'm just gonna make sure you know why it's a bad idea to put me up, but I know you're not going to. It's fine." And of course, the question that raised in my mind is, okay, is that her just like really feeling good about Lauren and it's like there's no way she'll actually put me up, or is that like strategy? And either way, regardless of whether, it was intentional or not, it was very funny, at least compared to Adrian, who's like panicking about like, "Oh, I'm gonna go home," and Ashley's like, I'm fine, I'm good. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're fine.
With Ashley, I think that Ashley actually has good reads on her place in the house,
Hmm.
but not necessarily in how to interact within that place.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I would say that Ashley's game sense, just in terms of, game and sense, is probably one of the best in the house. Like maybe top three. If I'm just looking at the list, I would probably say it's her, Ava, and I don't know, maybe like Rachel. And because Ashley understands, like, as you said, her place in the game. The problem and why she keeps almost getting nominated is she's bad. She just doesn't know how to interact with people, which is a problem that many people in this house seem to have.
Oh my
But
gosh.
but I don't know if anybody has that problem as overtly and obviously as Ashley does. So.
When you have two people cleaning talking about how much they appreciate the other person for helping them clean, and you're just sitting there watching them, like.
I appreciate that Ashley, like, in a house full of people like Vince who will suck up to anybody and everything, Ashley just does not care. It's like I respect it. I would be more like Vince if I were on Big Brother. To be completely honest with you, because I just can't imagine myself just not caring.
Yeah, no, I definitely care, and so like that is great. Yeah, I love Ashley's the way that Ashley perceives other people perceiving her is interesting as well, though.
Yeah, it is. I think about like how Ashley, how she thinks about the rest of the game and the rest of the house. I feel like is completely different from everybody else because it's clear on one sense that Ashley like is here to play the game. She's here to win. Like she's serious about staying. But on the other hand, she's just not doing all the other things that other people are doing. Like she's truly playing a completely different game than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, she hasn't been nominated yet, so I don't know.
Well,
she's in a bad spot theoretically, but I don't think she's getting targeted by anybody anytime soon. I don't think she's a number one threat in the house. So
I think depending on who wins HOH, she could be targeted. I think exactly
that's true. Goes up. That's true. Yeah, I do think half the house is against her, which is not good. But I don't know that the half of the house that she's with is the house. I can't talk. Is the half of the house? Say that 5 times fast. That seems to be in power at the moment and seems to be outplaying the side that is more, women oriented is vastly outplaying the bros side of the house. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah, but the thing is like she still wants to work with a lot of people on the other side more than she does the people she's with.
Yeah.
Or at least, maybe that might be shifting some now that they've gone to bat for her a little bit, but initially, yeah.
Ashley has the same problem that Keanu has, where she both is like inflexible and yet wants to target her allies. She's inflexibly targeting her allies, the people that wants to work with her. And with Keanu, it's like, oh, that's Keanu. That's a classic Keanu behavior. With Ashley, it's like, if you didn't do that, you would probably be like a great player, maybe, or at least certainly a better one. But it's like
you would be much higher on my winner rankings.
Mm-hmm. Her biggest problem is truly herself. Like But it's also her biggest strength is being herself. So it's weird. It's interesting. But I want Ashley to stay for as long as possible.
Yeah, I think that we'll eventually get to a point where Ashley's a pawn. I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah, I can totally see that happening for sure.
Yeah, I think once we get rid of some of the targets we have now and we need new ones, then Ashley's a potential one there.
Speaking of their biggest problem is themselves and the word pawn, let's talk about Kelly next. Boy, I want to know your thoughts on Kelly because once again, this is your first Big Brother season, and she's truly changing the game. I think so.
Kelly's on my draft team.
Oh,
so I'm rooting for you. Kelly is very interesting.
Yep.
She considers herself a pawn when I think she's actually a target.
Yeah.
And because she thinks she's a pawn, she's very willing to go up on the block. She has too much faith in the people that she considers allies.
Yeah.
And just a kind of blind hatred might be too strong, but blind force against anyone that is not who she decided that liked her the first week.
Yeah. What's interesting about Kelly, I really liked that you said, she thinks she's a pawn, but she's actually a target. Because she is both, like other people, sort of extremely rigid in how she's playing, but also, she has this degree of hope, but also, I don't know, sadism that is hard to explain. She loves lying to people just because she can. And it's my God, I can relate to that. And, there's nothing wrong with that, I get. Well, there is. I don't know why I'm pretending to say that's okay. It's not. But
I want to play Clock Tower with her.
Exactly. I think that playing Blood in the Clock Tower, I think this is the third week in a row I'm saying this, but it's true. Playing Blood in the Clock Tower with Kelly and playing Blood in the Clock Tower with Vince would be so interesting because Kelly she would kind of play like you, Addie. She would just lie about things.
I don't do that. I have reasons, and I've backed up. When I first started, yes. I just was saying whatever, but I now have a little bit more strategy to what I do.
I can see Kelly on the first day being like, "I'm the Undertaker." No, that's a lie. I'm actually the monk, and meanwhile, she's the Raven Keeper, or whatever.
Help me out, yeah.
I can totally see that. And meanwhile, if you play Blood in the Clock Tower with Vince, he would just be like, "I trust you 100%. I'm the only one I'm telling you this."
You're the only person I'm telling.
I don't want to tell you, but I have to tell you, and it's I'm good. I just I'm the recluse.
Okay. Yeah. You want to vote out so and so? Sure. Going to the next person. You want to vote out? Okay. Yeah.
So great.
Kelly just loudly declare who she wants to nominate throughout the whole day, and then nominate herself when they get to time.
Yeah. Just to take me off the board, except she doesn't want to actually be voted out. I don't know. Should be a great Baron, I think. Should be a fantastic Baron. Maybe not a great player beyond that. Who knows? But Kelly is interesting once again because, as you said, she thinks she's a pawn, but she's actually a target. And I asked myself, why does Kelly think that she has no chance of going up? Why does she think that she's just a pawn and she's not really a target? Well, on one hand, I do believe that she thinks she's a target, kind of, because I think she realizes that people in the house don't necessarily, love her necessarily. But on the other hand, she still hasn't been on the block technically. She hasn't been a part of the vote. And I think part of her is well, I haven't been on the block yet, so why would I think I'm going home?
Yeah. I think that she realizes that she's a pawn against Keanu. But I think that once it was potentially her versus Will, you could see the nerves kind of
Yeah.
And so like I think that that's a part. I think that she recognizes that she has the votes in certain scenarios, and so she's a pawn in those scenarios, but others.
I would love, yeah. I would love to know what Kelly thinks is going on in the game right now. I would love to know who she thinks is running the house. I would love to know who she thinks is the biggest threat to win. I would love
Mm.
to know who she thinks is the biggest target and all that stuff. Because I feel like, on one hand, she is obviously not good at Big Brother. And also, on the other hand, also on that same hand, I should say, she's also not socially good at Big Brother. And also, her reads aren't good. And so I would like to know that. There really is no other hand to the equation. But I just think it would be fascinating.
I'm pretty sure she thinks Rachel's all of it.
Yeah.
That Rachel's the biggest target, that Rachel's wants to be running the house, but that like her and Keanu are somehow kind of running the house.
What?
I think that she would not. I think that she would say that there's like two sides.
Sure.
And that her and Keanu are pulling strings behind the scenes type of thing, running the house, while Rachel's kind of the face of it, is what I think.
Aren't they in like a very public beef right now? Isn't that like something that's happening, or did that happen? Because
her and Keanu?
Yeah. Well, Rachel and Keanu, I should say.
Oh yeah, Rachel and Keanu, 100%. But except for Keanu, kind of
weird.
Yeah, we'll get to them when we get to them.
Yeah. Honestly, Kelly, like, aside from the fact that she's, it's weird that she's here, and she has such a fascination with Tucker, and it's such a fascination with like all that stuff. I really don't know what to say about her. It just feels like she's not here to play social strategy. You know what I mean?
It feels like she's here to be like the I'm quirky, not like other girls girl.
Well, sure. I mean, yeah.
But
she does goat yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that we even see that in the alliance that she's chosen.
Yeah. I mean, the theory I posited in the past, and this is the one that I will say again, is that Kelly is here for clout, which is funny because you wouldn't expect somebody like Kelly to be here for clout, but I think that she is. I think that she's here because she wants attention on herself, and she wants to be, well loved and beloved by America, like say, I don't know, Tucker is, for example. And she wants to be in the hearts and minds of Americans, and people want to be like, oh, Kelly, she was the underdog and she did it. You go, girl, or whatever else. I think the problem is she's put herself in that underdog position herself and keeps forcing herself to continue to be in that underdog position by being like, yeah, put me in that position. I'll do it. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah. So I don't know.
Is Kelly a comp beast?
Is she a comp beast? Is that what you're asking?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she hasn't been on the vote yet, and she's been nominated every week, I believe. So I guess she's the biggest comp beast in the game right now. So I guess.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. The more she does this, the almost like eventually, if this keeps happening, where she continues to be able to take herself off the block, then eventually she would be a threat.
Well, I think she's a threat to maybe win an HOH and win power.
Yeah.
If she's at the end, once again, imagine an Ashley and Kelly final too. It's beautiful. I don't think she wins against literally anybody in the house. I think Keanu has a better chance of winning. One.
Oh, really? You think if it's Kelly and Keanu wins?
I mean, at least Keanu has like a plan. It's a horrible plan. It's otherworldly bad. Kelly's plan is, I'll win. I'll win it, and I'll put myself up there and I'll do it.
Yeah,
it's not a game plan to win Big Brother. I mean, Keanu's perception of the game is arguably even worse than Kelly's, but he thinks he's smart. And if you go up there in front of the jury and you're confident enough and you're like, yeah, no, I ran this game. Meanwhile, Kelly, who's like, I was the underdog and I won every competition, and that's it. Actually, maybe you would vote for Kelly in that situation. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, what's more impressive, winning every competition or deluluing your way to the end?
I mean, they're both doing that though. Is the thing. It's not like Kelly. I don't imagine, come next week, she's all of a sudden going to be like, "Oh, Big Brother." I, I think I think she's gonna do this as long as she can potentially. Um, so there you go. That's kind of my thoughts on Kelly. I don't know really what else to say about her. I think people online are very well, they realize that she is a bit of an odd character in many ways. I think what you were saying, Addie, is very accurate. I do think that she wants to be seen as not being like the Mickeys and the Morgans of the world. Maybe, and that kind of goes with who she's aligning with. But yeah, we'll see if anything happens with Kelly again. She might not go up this week, which is interesting. But we'll get to that when we get to that. All right, next up is our dearly departed, the person who just got eliminated, Adrian. And some people were surprised by Adrian going home, but I have to ask you, Addie, what did you think about Adrian?
Adrian's just like a little cutie pie, and you just see he's you're kind of rooting for him, just like his personality. You're kind of rooting for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he had the strongest gameplay,
Yeah.
and he didn't perform in challenges the way I expected him to. He did in one of them, like he did in a few challenges, but
Yeah.
this most recent one, is kind of, he didn't win when he needed to. But I like Adrian. I do not think that he's the most interesting player on the season. I do not think that he was actively making moves, which I think put him in a weak position to be an easy out, because I think that if Adrian would have been more active in forming alliances instead of just and going behind the scenes and doing some things instead of just like forward facing, here's what I'm doing,
Yeah,
you're with me or against me type vibe, I think that he probably would have had a much longer run in the game.
I'll say this about Adrian. I think of the 6 people who've been put on the block so far this season: Kelly, Adrian, Amy, Will, Keanu, and Zay. I guess Adrian's like the most strategic of those 6, which would imply that he was like strategic, but I wouldn't say that really. I mean, he was more strategic, but he also kind of really wasn't doing much a lot of the time. It felt like,
Is he more strategic than Will?
I mean, maybe, I don't know.
I would say they're pretty on par with each other as far as
they're pretty on par with each other. I mean, Adrian was doing a lot of campaigning though, and Will, I think, if he goes home, he's not really going to be that upset about it at this point in time. And Adrian, of course, was very upset.
Very upset, yeah.
I will say this about Adrian as well. You mentioned how he was one of the lesser interesting people in the house. Boy, do I agree with you. I felt like the most interesting things we got from Adrian were his intro video on the first episode, where he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be the best Big Brother player of all time." Ha 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 ha. And then I laugh at that. He had everything in his room labeled, including the box fan. Said big fan. He had his mantis thing. He loves mantises. And then in this last episode, when we found out that he is attracted to bread,
eating all the bread and going on dates with it,
I'll be honest, it was a delicious looking roll of bread, but I wouldn't take it on a date necessarily. Maybe that's just my preference. But I don't want to judge. Him being like, "I want a body pillow of bread," though, was pretty crazy.
That's what I was like, we've maybe gone too far with this.
Yeah, look, you got to check yourself at the door. Sometimes when you do a bit, you have to ask yourself, and this is me saying this, so this is really something. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, is it really worth keeping this bit going? Like, do you want to be on television that badly? Do you really want to be known as the bread guy? The bread, the man who's sexually attracted to bread. You want to be that guy. You want to be that guy, Adrian. And that's your legacy in the game. You did nothing else, man.
Yeah. You like with Adrian, I admired his like it was the things when I think of Adrian, it was like weird random segments of like fighting with the laundry,
Yeah,
the bread,
that happened. Yeah.
the segments that go too long.
Mhm.
And then like his love for his family. And so you
Sure.
admire like his love for his family. That was kind of his motivator and very clear. I can't and his bluntness and how he hates liars.
I forgot about that. Yeah. Adrian going to everybody. I did mention that he was doing campaigning for himself and things like that. But his campaigning really wasn't like true campaigning. It was kind of just Addie, if I am safe this week, I'm going after the liars. Yeah. Yeah, so, watch
That's why
out.
I'm working with Vince.
So, watch out the liars. So,
I'll tell you the truth.
I'm telling you the truth right now.
You.
I'm honest. I'm straight up in this game. I haven't lied, but you know who has lied? The liars, and I'm going after them. So,
yeah, I think that Vince could have been very interesting if he was more extreme in certain aspects of his personality and tone down a little bit the other things, which also not being the most interesting person on this season of Big Brother is not a bad thing.
That's true. That's true. In fact, I would say it's an active strength in your gameplay not to be interesting to some extent. I mean, he was still, I'm sure if we saw more of him, there might have been even a little more to his personality than Brad. But who's to say, really? I'll say this: I'm really not that unhappy that he's gone. I mean, I liked him more than say Zae or Amy, but like, I don't know. He really wasn't bringing anything to the season. It's not like I'm like, oh, he could have gone far. I think it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, like I said, I think that he seems like a very sweet person. Seems nice, but and for that reason, like you want him to succeed, but not necessarily for my viewing not for the entertainment of him being there.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to somebody who has brought us constant entertainment, I think, and that's Vince. What do we think about Vince? Because, God, look at his mustache. What do we think about Vince?
I mean, I agree. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, I have to agree with you. I mean, yeah, you're right.
I mean, I think that we're on this. I think we're together.
We're on the same page. I'm with you. I'm with you. I agree with you. I think, yeah. I mean, whatever you want to do, though.
Yeah. In the diary room, I don't want to be aligned with so and so, but I also want so and so to think I'm with them. To everyone.
Vince shouldn't be working. You know what I mean? His bit should not be working. But compared to, he's still not really a target. He is, but he's not. Like Rachel's saying, we should go after Vince, but nobody's like, I want to put Vince up. So I don't know what to make of him. He is just I mean, he's probably the most snake player in this game. Because in this last vote, when poor Adrian went home, he was like, "Yeah, I'll tie the vote. We'll get whoever it was, Will, out of here." Blah blah blah. And then he was like, "Nope, I'm not doing that. I'll go with the numbers." And since then, he has been throwing Zach.
That's what I was like. Even more so because he is fully in the like not wanting to rock the boat camp. and not wanting to be seen aligned with the people who are good for his game.
Yeah.
But you talk about being Snake, he is just so willing to not take accountability for anything and to throw other people under the bus.
He's
Would say like this, yeah.
He's like a groveling servant to the king, and the king or the queen or whoever is everybody else in the game, and he's just like, my liege, I'm sorry, I'll be better, blah blah blah. And it's like Vince is he's almost like insanely willing to throw anybody under the bus because that's been his game plan the whole time. The first 3 weeks of the game, he was just constantly throwing Kelly under the bus, running her over, making her roadkill, very sad. And he was just doing that like, oh well, if you're looking for a nominee, I bet Kelly would volunteer. Yeah, you should talk to Kelly about that. Yeah, Kelly would totally do that. And then this week, the first real signs of like, I would say trepidation and like a very clear non-HOH misplay from Vince. I mean, I say very clear. He's had a lot of misplays. Which is him, voting, basically flipping on half the house. He's just like, yeah, no, I did it, but it was Zach though. I mean, it was really him. He's the one that you should really be mad at. Me, I'm just an idiot, and I'm just a fool, and I'm so sorry. So
I just followed pretty Zach.
Yeah. God, I don't even know what to really think about Vince, because on one hand I'm like, hey, he does the groveling snake thing very well, but it's like that can only take you so far. There's some point where people have to be like, Vince is not good for my game.
Well, the thing is, like, people have clocked that he's doing this, and yet they still count him as one of their numbers.
Well, because he said that I'm his number one, Addie. He was like, I'm with you. So, I mean, he's telling me the truth. I mean, he's just lying to everybody else, but he's telling me the truth, though, for sure.
I think that if Rachel wins HOH, he's on the block, but I don't think if anyone else. I think that he's safe.
I agree with that. I think everybody but Rachel does not see through it. I think they think they see through it. I think they're like, yeah, no, Vince is playing all sides. But I think everybody, at least to some extent, is like, but Vince wouldn't go after me, though. Which is so funny.
There must be some aspect of like charm, charisma, and personality that he has in person that isn't communicated through the screen, because
like, I mean, I get it. Yeah. I get why it works. I think he has this innate level of like, he's charming, I guess. He has this level of like hipster charisma and like hipster, like, I'm weird, but I'm like not that weird, but I'm like normal, but I'm also like, I think he's a chameleon for better and for worse.
Yes.
Which is good in the sense of it's good for Big Brother, but also like he didn't get Lauren to do what he wanted her to do, which is nominate Ashley last round. He didn't really do anything with his first HOH, and we were all saying, man, Vince, what a bad HOH. But the thing is, in a roundabout way, it's worked for him because he's played the exact same way that he played during his HOH, which is, I'll just do what the house wants, and I won't do anything for my own game. And also, I'll throw Kelly under the bus. Like, that's been his whole game. So
it's good for surviving. I don't know if people will see it as good play at the end.
Yeah, I mean, my honest thought is I think Vince is still going to be here for a while. I mean, as you said, I think only Rachel is going to nominate him. And even if Vince gets nominated, who's saying, I want to get rid of the person who says that I'm his number one? I think it would have to take like everybody coming together and getting in a big circle and being like, what has Vince promised you? And what has Vince promised you? What has Vince promised you? Because as long as it's a game of telephone, people can be like, oh, Morgan said that Vince said that Zach was his number one, but that doesn't make any sense. I bet Morgan's just lying. And that's just going to continue for for weeks on end until maybe eventually somebody not named Rachel is going to be like, oh, I get it now. But
Yes.
even still, you have to convince all these people. So I don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Vince. Lots of thoughts on Vince. But let's see. I mean, unless you have any thoughts on Amy, we could just move on to Lauren. I don't know. What do you want?
Yeah. Amy was there.
True.
And Amy's not anymore.
That is one of the most accurate things I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've exhausted all my thoughts on Amy. I feel like I exhausted all my thoughts on Amy after the first episode because she was only ever Rachel too. It felt like in the house, at least the people's perception of her, and perhaps that is all she will be. So yeah, that's Amy. All right, let's move on to
the token over 30 woman.
Yes, exactly. Let's move on to Lauren, who is one of the token under 30 women. Let's talk about her. What do you think?
I think she seems very nice, and very much like she doesn't want to, like she wants to fit in. And also, I think she also is someone who seems to care how they're being perceived. Both.
Oh yeah, for sure.
On the like both within the house and outside of it.
Yeah, I get that.
I was high on Lauren before this week.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed with the way they handled HOH. I thought that they were going to be willing to put up some bigger targets, and then it turned out that I thought they were staying low so that they wouldn't be a target until they got power.
But
and
not
then
really.
That's not what happened at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Lauren suffers from becoming what other people think about her. Because I think back to week 1, people were like, "Oh man, Lauren, she's such a sweet girl, and she's so nice, and she's a wonderful personality, and all that stuff." Meanwhile, the audience at home is like, "This girl's a Big Brother super fan. Like, she really knows the game inside and out, and like, she's potentially one of the people who knows the show the best on the entire cast." So like, I think that that perception of her will only aid her game going forward because she'll be able to play off that and be strategic. We are now into the 4th week of Big Brother 27. I ain't seen it. I feel as if she has become what everybody in the house perceived her as, which is somebody who is very sweet and very nice, and people like her. And then that's sort of the end of that because she hasn't shown off any like real strategic chops. So.
And she has the people who she wants out of the house that she doesn't view as her alliance, but she's not willing to, like, when she was HOH, not willing to put them up.
Yeah. Which is so interesting to me. I kind of get it, but I don't. I don't know.
Like, the 2 people, whether you think they're annoying or not, 2 people that are willing to work with you and, like, go all in with you is Keanu and Kelly.
Yeah.
And Keanu and Kelly are rigid in what they want. And so if they're with you, they're with you. And yet you put them on the block, like potentially weakening your position, increasing your odds of going on the block if someone else wins. And you left it with only one target, where if you had that is also a very likable person, that it was going to be hard to get numbers against. I think that if it was Ashley, Will, and Kelly, I would have been more high on Lauren's HOH. But getting out someone that is good for, like, she just kind of weakened in this. It wasn't the worst thing. Like, it was not the worst HOH.
Yeah,
but I think that she weakened her position. And it doesn't help that I was high on Lauren, thinking, oh, she's going to do XYZ and use this perception that people have of her to her advantage, whenever she just instead succumbed to the perception.
I think the biggest problem with Lauren, in the sense of where her game's at, is kind of just the idea of like she isn't in the worst spot, as you said, but she's not. Her path forward is awkward at best because her number one, at least it seemed like, she would probably say
Yeah.
otherwise, but her number one seemed like it was Catherine for a
Yes.
while. And that's everybody's perception in the house. They were like, these two are very close. And then she became HOH and she was like, yeah, no, me and Catherine are aligned, but I'm not putting her up, but we're not number ones. My number one is, I guess, Vince, which, we just kind of talked about that guy. So I don't know.
Who she wouldn't. The fact that Lauren had a day where she's like, "I'm only talking to Vince," was wild.
Oh my God. Yeah. And the thing about her like being too tired to talk to people after spending 2 hours or whatever talking to Vince. And they're just going back and forth in the HOH room like what do you want to do today? I don't know. What do you want to do today? I don't know. What do you want to do today? You know. It's interesting. Like I would say it's bad gameplay because on any normal season it would be. But here on this season, it's just kind of like, yeah, it's mediocre. It's fine.
Usual.
Yeah, it's like that's why I think it's so interesting that this is your season baseline for you, Addie, because I can't imagine somebody doing that on Survivor, like winning individual immunity, and people are going to them about like, all right, what do you want to do? And they're like, I don't know. What do you want to
No,
do?
that wouldn't happen. They
Yeah,
would say now whether they got their way or not, you don't know, but that they would give them the boldness to say what they
especially
actually want.
especially when it's your number one ally going to you if you have individual immunity. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know
That's your
what I
time
want
to
to
like
do.
actually plan.
Yeah. So it's
Oh,
it's feels like such a different world. Maybe that's just because Big Brother at its nature is such a different game
it's so
with
much
the
longer too,
nominations. And it's so much longer, but
because they're almost like the Survivor season's almost ending at where they're at now.
that's true. Yeah, that's honestly a good point. Man, I can't imagine. Like it's one thing to be on an island with people. At least you can like go into the forest and like, get away from people or go out into the water. Here it's like you have been surrounded by Keanu for a month and you may have to be surrounded by him for another 2 months. So, good luck. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. I feel bad for the normal people on this season because there are like five or so people I would say are perfectly normal who are still on the show, Lauren being one of them.
Hmm.
And it's like, yeah, I guess if I were Lauren, I would also not really know what to do.
Yeah. I, I do think that Lauren is not in any danger anytime soon,
Yeah, I agree with that.
but I don't think that Lauren's in a good place to win
Yeah.
if they
I
keep playing the way that they played this week when they or someone that they're aligned with is in power.
I've said this in the past, but Lauren reminds me sort of a lot of the position that America was in Big Brother 25, where it's like for a while she was just perceived as like this sweet girl, nice enough. And then she sort of ramped up her strategy later on and sort of became more of a strategic force. And I imagine that's sort of what's going to happen to Lauren. But like America, I sort of think it's going to be too little too late. And she's just not going to be well aligned enough with people to make it through the game and get to the end. But we'll see. We'll figure that out. That's Lauren. All right. Let's move on to Jimmy. Jimmy. It's Jimmy. What do we think about Jimmy?
I was like Lauren. I was a lot higher on Jimmy at the start, not because of necessarily a strategy. I thought that his strategy was too much too fast,
Mm-hmm.
um, but because of his personality, of the confidence, of just like yeah, and the claiming things that other people did as your own. Uh,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed that a lot initially. And I
Mhm.
was in the fighting and him staging TV moments, that type of thing, um, because he so wants to go viral. Um,
Yeah.
it was really fun for the first few weeks. Now I'm like, okay, Jimmy, we get it. You want to fight with Keanu. You're going to get Keanu. Okay. And I think a big part of it is that Keanu's still there. I think that if one of them had gone out sooner, then I would be a little less tired of it. But I don't know how long he's in for the game. I think the people he's close with are losing some trust in him.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's trying to do what Vince is doing, but he's not doing as good of the job at it.
Yeah, probably because he's put these like public outbursts out there, and then nobody wants to be that close to him. I think is part of it.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
It's funny that the one person who's like trusts him the most and thinks they have him on side is Keanu.
Yeah.
When that's who he's staging these public outbursts with.
That's insane to me. That's so crazy. I liked what you mentioned earlier about Jimmy constantly trying to go viral, because there's a difference between him and Kelly in the sense that I believe Kelly wants to be famous. I believe that she wants to be America's sweetheart. I think she wants to win, America's favorite or whatever it is. I forget the name of the award, but that whole thing. I think Jimmy wants to be famous on Twitter. I think he wants to have a hit tweet and have it blow up, and people on the internet to be like, yay. I think that's what he wants.
He wants to make it in a compilation of Big Brother moments.
Yes, he wants to be Reagan. He wants to be this personality who goes after people, who doesn't take, anything from anybody. And also be like pretty good at Big Brother too.
He wants to be Reagan. He wants to be Jesse.
Yeah.
The people that I, not watching Big Brother, have heard of because of their outrageousness.
I think Jimmy wants to be casted on other shows. He wants to go on The Traitors. He'll go on House of Villains. He will go on Squid Game if he has to. Like he'll do it. Netflix Squid Game. I believe that that's something that Jimmy would do. That being said, this week was interesting for me because, it's just after Jimmy was HOH. He nominated 5 people. And so I think he sort of said, I'm going to go in the background. I'm not going to be as overt and as outright. But here Jimmy is still trying to make alliances, basically. He's trying to force the heavy hitters back into a mold where it's like, we'll do heavy hitters 2.0, but also, did Rylie just win HOH ? We should bring the original person back. And it's like, you can try bringing the band back together, but there's only so much that can be done. I can't imagine the combination of Morgan and Jimmy and Rylie and Rachel working together fluidly. There's somebody else I'm missing too. Like that's just Vince. That's just not happening.
You know what Jimmy's like?
Tell me.
Jimmy's like that dog that's inside the house and is barking and barking and barking.
Yeah.
And then you open the door to walk towards the dog, and then it just like rolls over.
Yeah. Yeah. It's certainly.
I didn't mean it.
In many ways.
Be my friend.
You could even say that Jimmy is, say, I don't know, all bark and no bite. Because that is sort of exactly what happened in his HOH, where he's saying, at least to the cameras and also to all the people in public, like, yeah, no, I'm not afraid to make big moves. Yeah, I'm here to play Big Brother. Yeah. I'll throw my glasses on the ground, parentheses dramatically, and I'll walk away because I'm cool. Meanwhile, he's HOH and he's like, I gotta play this as safe as possible.
There's no other option than
to
put up the 3 most obvious, easy people.
It's honestly kind of similar to the situation Lauren was in, where it's like, I think both of them thought that they wanted power, but as soon as they got it, they were like, oh God.
I can get blood on my hands. I think that the blockbuster adds to that because the fact that there's not just the veto that can bring them off the block, but also another thing, or it's like I might have to live with this person
Yeah.
after, and I don't want them to be mad at me. I think so many people just don't want people to be mad at
I
them.
I think that's the one thing that's protecting Jimmy right now, and Rachel to some extent, is people don't want them to be upset at them. Because, if, say, I'm Lauren and I decide for whatever reason to put up Jimmy or Rachel, they are coming after me. They know that, okay, you put me up instead of putting somebody easy up, like, say, I don't know, Will. And it's like, I'm going after you because of that. Um, whether that's actually true, is a question mark. But I think that's how people perceive both of them. And for Rachel, I think it's incidental. I think she kind of likes that perception, but I think part of that is just sort of her staging fights with Zay and Keanu, and that's not actually how she wants to play the game necessarily. For Jimmy, I think he loves the fact that people think he's scary. I think that's exactly what he wants to do. And if he heard that, if he heard somebody say that, he would be like, "Oh, then I need to do that more. Then I need to throw my glasses on the ground even harder next time."
It,
So
it, it seems like it makes him feel big and powerful without actually having to make any moves himself.
exactly, you hit the nail on the head. I couldn't have said it better myself. Um, so I'll be interested to see where Jimmy goes after this, because I feel like at this present moment in time, he really doesn't have any close allies anymore. I think he thinks he does, but I don't think everybody in the house, regardless of whether they're generally aligned with Jimmy or not, are sort of trepidatious around him. They're like trying to sort of ease away from him. Like, yeah, you do what you're gonna do. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
honestly think Rachel's his closest ally at this point.
probably, which is funny because they get in arguments all the time.
Mhm.
It's a toxic relationship. Not really, but it's funny. I I've warmed up on Jimmy. I was pretty sour on him initially, but I've warmed up on him. Um, that being said, I don't really need to see him around that much longer, but I do think it'd be fun to see him on the block, if nothing else. I'd love to see what his campaign strategy is, because I think it's either like, I better not go home, or blah, 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 or your game's going to be ruined, or it's going to be like, I'm sorry, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And he'll be like Vince, which I could see it. So,
I think that he is trying to find the line between of playing the Vince game and also being big TV.
mhm, yeah. Which,
He's just too
I,
real for this game, I think.
yeah, I don't think that's possible, is the thing that we're learning, is he really does want to ride the line. He wants to be a great social player, but I think you could only do these like big dramatic moments as like a last gasp for breath, a real Hail Mary. But yeah, I don't know. Jimmy's not winning, is sort of what I'm getting at.
Yes.
Um Somebody who's also probably not winning, at least if you ask me, is Will, who's next up. What do we think about Will?
I love Will.
He's pretty great.
I I did not want him to go home. Every time he's on the block, I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no. I think he has the votes, but oh no, oh no, oh no. Um, I think that he is. We were talking about the few normal people. I think he's one of the normal people,
Yep. Yep.
but in a way that's still entertaining and fun to watch. Like he's normal in the sense that like he has moderately good like social awareness
Mhm.
and this type of things. He's good old family man, but he also like I enjoyed him in the diary room complaining about Lauren. I
Yeah.
enjoyed him. He's a little bit of a gossip, and I love
He
it.
is. Yeah. It's interesting because, we think about the normal people in the house. The people who are still in the house who I would consider normal are Lauren, Will, Mickey, and then maybe you could argue Vince or Zach, but I probably wouldn't. And it's like, of those 3 or 4, I would say that I would feel the most bad if Will stays in this game for the entire rest of the time, because he seems like a little bit miserable all the time. I think he wants to play. I think he wants to be, he wants to win. He wants to be there, but he also like he's outmatched. Like, he's surrounded by young people. Even Amy's gone. The next closest to him in age is Rachel Riley. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like he was kind of hung out to dry from the start, if I'm being real.
I think it's kind of become a self-fulfilling prophecy for him where now should there be more age diversity within the cast? I think so. I think that it makes things interesting. But if you kind of decide that once you start saying that you're not connecting with people because you're too old, you're going to stop connecting with people. But I think that he did connect with enough people early on before this was kind of his message, what he kept saying, that it's going to hold him out for a while and keep him safe. I do think the fact that he was put on the block initially has now made him an easy pawn. I do not think that if he hadn't been put up, he would be considered a pawn. But now that he has, and people seem that it's, that he's just gonna probably stay unless someone else likable goes up, then he's kind of in this rough spot where I think he goes out mid-game. He might make jury, but I don't think that he gets too far. But I do like Will, and I want him to do well.
Will's greatest strength is the fact that everybody likes him. I don't think anybody dislikes Will in the house, which is it's powerful because, oh boy, there are a lot of people that you could very theoretically dislike in this house, and nobody would bat an eye at that. Will, everybody rallies around, but also nobody's really tight with Will. People want to bring in Will as a number, but also like they want to keep him at arm's length because he's not really aligned with anybody. It's hard to bring in an ally that nobody really needs in the game or wants in the game necessarily. He's kind of this sounds rude, but he's kind of just like in a shell. He's like a shell of a player that could be there. He could be a great social player, and I could see him even being pretty good strategically. But he's just, it's the self-fulfilling prophecy. He's kind of just like, he was born to be a pawn. He's like an empty space to put in the block, and eventually, if you don't want to get rid of the other person sitting next to you, you get rid of the pawn. What's the big deal? So
he will. I think that there is a chance for him. Like, I don't think that he's dead in the water yet. I think that there is a chance for, if he decides to, like, Ava loves him. Mickey loves him. And they are both in fantastic positions. If he really starts to zone in and strategize with them more than just campaigning, but like actually strategizing, I think he has a chance to move his way out of a pawn position and more into, that'll take time, but out of the pawn position and into a more powerful position to where, and I do think that at this point in the game, if anyone is sitting next to Will in the end, it's going to be a close thing depending on who it is, but Will has a good shot just because of the likability factor.
I agree with that.
I think that but he has to decide to do that, and we haven't seen evidence that he's going to do that yet.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing is as you said, Ava and Mickey very much like Will. I think Zach really likes Will. I think a lot of people really like Will. But then you notice like how these players are playing with Will, and it's like, yeah, Ava and Will are really close. But Ava has chosen her final two deal, I mean, we'll see how true it is, to be Rachel and not Will, which seems interesting because like everybody knows Will doesn't really have a number one right now. Will's just kind of a number, but I think he's so like neutrally ingrained with everybody, and it's like it's so clear that he's a pawn. It's like, if I'm Ava and if I'm playing a pretty good game theoretically, why would I want to invest all my stock in somebody who keeps going on the block and will go home probably within the next few weeks? That just seems like a waste of the resource that is time and the resource that is, promising that I'm going to take you to the end or whatever. So I don't know. I like Will. I do think there's a chance that he gets out of it, but he will either have to do a lot himself or he will just have to pray that other people just kind of forget about him, which is possible. They could. I think enough things are happening this week so that Will is kind of faded into the background, but we'll see.
Or he needs to win HOH.
Yes,
And
that
get
too.
rid of some of the young people he doesn't connect with, like the Rylies, like the Catherines.
Yeah. And though honestly, it seems like that might happen anyway because of Mickey. So his game could be helped out regardless. We'll see. And somebody else who could also help out Will's game is the aforementioned Ava, who we have next. A lot of thoughts about Ava out on the streets, Addie. I want to know, what are your thoughts?
I love Ava. They're so fun. I think that Ava is what Kelly wanted to be.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
As far as perception of them goes.
Mm-hmm.
She's just kind of herself and vibing, especially first week and a half or so. And now we've even seen Ava kind of push her way this past week with the will vote, where she wasn't willing to vote with people that consider her an ally. Also, everyone considers Ava an ally. Great for Ava.
Yeah.
But wouldn't really consider her an ally. That did consider her an ally. She was able to like talk them into something that is worse for their game, without and it be obviously intentional because it happened more than one time. In a way that didn't seem very pushy though.
Yeah, no, it's very good because Ava has this like way of speaking that's like so over the top in a way. Like, you know, she has an interesting voice, and you know, I like it. But it's also like disarming. It's like, oh, that's Ava. She's just being her old quirky
just
self.
so goofy.
Yeah, exactly. She has this goofy demeanor that when I know on the podcast, we were talking about players and their floors and their ceilings. And I think Ava is basically playing to the ceiling of how she can play right now. Because just in terms of like how people perceive you, like if you're like Morgan, you're gonna be perceived as being like a high threat no matter what. And your floor and your ceiling are basically gonna be identical because of that. You can't get away from being perceived as this, you know, beautiful, strong, blah, 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 blah. With Ava, it's like she can be perceived as being like, just like, oh, she's this quirky, like weirdo, or she can be perceived as being like, oh, she's a secret mastermind. And right now, she's being perceived as sort of being, you know,
in the middle,
well liked or whatever, when really she is pretty inarguably, if you ask me, playing the best game in the house, which I think really the only
insulated.
There's really no question about it. Like the only other people, in my opinion, that you could claim are playing the best game are maybe Mickey, Rachel, and Zach. And Mickey, she could prove herself to be, you know, in the best spot depending on how she plays this HOH that she now has. Rachel, I would say no because her number one ally is gone, and Amy, and she's still kind of reeling from that. In some,
I think that someone could make an argument that Vince, if Vince doesn't get caught, Vince is playing a good game, you know, but just because how many people consider Vince an ally. But I think that Ava is actually playing better. I think that Ava's going to have more longevity.
And the only other thing I'll say is with Zach, it's like Zach is playing a very good game in some aspects, but he's also getting run over by Vince over and over right now. So I don't know. There's a question mark there. But Ava has managed to, in a sense, basically decide that Adrian went home, and has taken no heat for it. It's interesting that Vince has been so much in the camp of, well, Zach was the one who flipped, and it's Zach's fault. And you know, I don't even really know if he's mentioned like, oh, and yeah, Ava also. Like Ava's also to blame here.
Yeah, Ava like they haven't said it like Ava manipulated them or anything. They just, which I think would be a way to play and convince Rylie to not be mad at either of them.
Yeah. It's interesting because to me right now, Ava is in the spot where she is truly playing the middle. She's the most in the middle person, and she's playing the best there. But the perception from the house is that, oh, the person who's playing the most sides, which this is also true. The person playing the most sides and playing the middle is Vince, and so Vince is the snake, which is true. I mean,
Mhm.
he's the snake of the house. I already said that, and it's true. But Ava, like, could have also been perceived that same way it theoretically, because she's also playing the middle. She's also kind of deciding what side she wants to play with,
Mhm.
and is good with everybody. But the difference is Vince is uh, a lot about it, and Ava's not. Vince is very like, I will go into the HOH room with you for 2 hours, obviously, and I will just talk to the HOH and be like, yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. And Ava's just kind of herself, and she doesn't act out of she doesn't act outside of the box that people perceive her to be in. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
She she is great enough at the game that she understands her perception and she knows exactly to be right in the middle of them while still somehow being, good strategically and
Mhm.
influential. It's very impressive. It honestly is. So I give my flowers to Ava, like the flower in her hair.
Yes, I'm very high on Ava. Um, very very good chance of winning, in my opinion.
See, that's where I disagree. Because my thing with Ava, and me and Noah talked about this, one of the big things about the floor ceiling thing is Ava's eventually, no matter if she's so well liked at the moment that I think the further along she goes in the game, she will have to start winning competitions. Because if I'm Mickey or if I'm Morgan or if I'm Jimmy or whoever else, and Ava's still there, I think eventually the tides are going to turn and people are going to be like, oh, we can't let her get to the end because she's just going to win. I do think that's going to happen. Like maybe some people have their egos be high enough, cough cough Jimmy, cough cough, that they'll be like, oh yeah, no, I can beat her. I played so well strategically, and she's just had a flower in her hat. But no, I think Ava will eventually be seen as like, oh yeah, no, she has the story, she has the personality, everybody likes her, everybody loves her.
Mhm.
So I really don't know if she's gonna win, and I hate to be the hater there. I wouldn't even call it hate. It's too much love, is what I'm giving her. I'm giving her too many flowers because I think that's what people will do. I think people will eventually, regardless of how strategic she seems to people, you don't need to be strategic to win Big Brother. There are a lot of people, as is the case with Survivor, who have not been the most strategic person on their season who have won. But the difference is Ava also is strategic. So I think people might catch on to that eventually, unless she just surrounds herself with idiots, which she could do. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. I still think Ava has a chance to win.
sure.
Um, I think that the fact that people don't perceive her as strategic could lead to her more showing that when she needs
Yeah.
to save herself. But um, that's me. Maybe it's just me. My wishful thinking that in that sense.
Yeah. Somebody who I don't have the segue. Mickey's next. Also probably one of the people who's playing the best game in the
Mhm.
house, and she is in a particularly interesting spot now because
Yeah.
she is the HOH because she successfully stole the HOH from Rylie, and Rylie was like, he Riley knew that Mickey had a mysterious power. He knew, and we'll get to Riley because who boy do I have thoughts. Um,
Mhm.
but he was like, actually, I think it's Ashley, and part of that has to go to Mickey and Morgan and Ashley, who devised this plan to make it more of a question mark who has the power and to make him be even stupider than he already is. So that's all to say. Mickey is a good player and she now has the power to do what she wants. So I have to ask you, Addie, what do we think about Mickey?
I like Mickey. Um, I think that next to Ava, probably the best player this season.
Yeah.
I would actually put Mickey and Ava literally equal when it comes to how they're playing and how they're connected in the game. I think that they're maybe in the fact that Ava has some of the people on the other side that at least think they can pull her, and it's very clear with Mickey where Mickey stands.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that's good. I think that will at some point come in handy because especially now that Mickey's HOH and can maybe get rid of some of those people.
Yeah.
And seems like they will be playing that way. I mean, yes, I do think Kelly and Keanu go up, but like, I think they're also going to get some more interesting. We're not going to see Will for the third time. I don't think we're going to have something happen, which will be fun. I think that Mickey did a really good job. I think basically everyone knew Mickey had the power. I mean, so
they should have known. They should have known Mickey had the power.
Mickey did a good job of redirecting that and causing confusion. Yeah, I don't have many thoughts about Mickey other than they're playing a great game and they're well connected socially. They're not like stealing any spotlight or anything like that. They're doing a really good job of being in the background of the big moments per se, but while still playing a good game and being well liked.
Yeah, I think there's something to say. I think Mickey, in my opinion, is probably the biggest threat to win in the house, since, I'm not so sure about Ava in that regard. I think Mickey is the best chance to win because I think she has power, she's respected, she has the numbers, but she's also not a threat to go home. Like theoretically, Rylie wins the HOH and he's talking to Keanu and he's like, "Yeah, bro, I'm gonna put up Ashley, Mickey, and Morgan, and hopefully Ashley goes home." And it's like, okay, wouldn't you think that you would want to get rid of the person who you think is maybe masterminding this or whatever? Because people do see Mickey as a threat. But the difference is, I mean, first of all, I think that she's very well insulated in the house. I think people like Ashley would probably go home in front of her. And two, she's strategically oriented. And three, I think that I think if she keeps Morgan around long enough, I could see a world where people would think, oh man, Morgan's a bigger threat in this game than Mickey is. Like if you get to the very end of the game. I just think Mickey's in a great spot, and I really love her nominations or thoughts about it because she's doing what Jimmy and maybe even Lauren wanted to do, where it's like they're not going all out, they're not doing anything too crazy, but she is making moves that make sense for her game that propel her forward without making her target that much bigger. Theoretically, she, at least from what I heard, she might be putting up Kelly, but I did not hear that. I heard that she was thinking about putting up Catherine and Rylie and Keanu.
Yeah.
And I think even if Catherine or Rylie does not go home, if Keanu goes home or even Kelly goes home, it helps advance the idea of like, oh, thank God, we can put Rylie on the block now. We can put Catherine on the block now. Like even the way that the season's been going, just the very act of putting somebody in the block is signing their death warrant a few weeks from now, maybe. But eventually, they've been put on the block once. They're not going to be that upset if they get put on again. And so I think that that's what Mickey should do, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah. I think that I was saying Kelly because I think Kelly is the one to be the replacement if someone comes off.
Sure. That makes sense.
But yes, Rylie, Catherine, and Keanu, I'm pretty sure is last I watched the plan.
Yeah.
Which I am excited about. Let's send Rylie home.
Yeah. All that being said, like as you said, I really don't know what else to say about Mickey. This is kind of something I've been struggling with over the past since the game started because she's normal. Like she's not doing anything outrageous. She gets along with everybody well. People I think for the most part seem to like her. She's strategic, she has alliances, she's doing the smart things in the game.
Has great social awareness.
Great social awareness. Yeah, I think she knows what she's doing in the game, and that's great. And I support her success in it. All right, let's move on to somebody whose success in the game is more questionable, and that would be Keanu. Keanu is somebody in the game of Big Brother 27. Um, I don't know. I could go first, Addie, if you want me to on this one. I don't know, or you can go.
I mean, Keanu. I don't understand how Keanu is thinking that leads him to the conclusions like that he has. Like, is he watching the same thing that we? Is he seeing the same thing we are?
Hmm. Yeah.
And I think back to Survivor, the whole perception is reality. I think that Keanu is a good example of that because of how he perceives people and things. It so much shapes the reality, what he believes is reality, even though it's clearly not.
Yeah.
In the sense of what's going on in the house and his position.
I think deep down inside, Keanu knows that he's an idiot. I think he just doesn't want to face that part of himself. You know what I mean? I think Keanu knows that when he called everybody out and said, "I'm taking you out one by one by one by one," he knew like immediately afterwards, like he was like, "I should not have said that." But I don't know. I don't I don't really get why he thinks it's gonna work. Is kind of what I'm getting at. Why he thinks being so rigid and not bending to anybody is going to be good for his game ever. Like I don't even know what he thinks he's doing by being so rigid. I think he thinks that like I don't know. Do you have thoughts? I really don't know. I really don't.
It's almost like he thinks he can willpower his way
Yeah. Yeah.
into making things happen. Like,
Yeah.
if I say this is the case and this is the truth enough, it eventually will be. If I say that Jimmy trusts me and wants to work with me enough, Jimmy will eventually trust me and work with me. If I say that I am secretly convincing and manipulating Rachel to do what I want, then eventually that's going to be what happens. And then you'll look back and see how much of a genius I am because I've been saying it the whole time and it happened one time.
I mean, in a sense, I can almost understand. No, I don't. I don't really get it. Because there was this one point, I think last week, where Keanu just kept lying about the Zay vote, where he was like, "I voted for Amy to stay. I didn't vote for Zay to stay. Why would you think that?" And he kept saying that over and over again. And Jimmy's like, "Dude, I know you're lying." And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I really don't get what you're saying. I really don't get it at all." And there was eventually like a gear that turned where people were starting to be like, "Oh my god, maybe he actually is telling the truth, and maybe Will was lying about his vote or something like that." Um, Obviously that doesn't matter. People still don't trust Keanu because even if that one time his rigid, "I don't know what you're talking about. I told you what I'm doing." Even if that somehow in a roundabout way worked on like maybe two people for a day, there's all of the other stuff that has not. That one thing does not make up for the 9,000 other, "I don't know what you're talking about" things that he's done. So, yeah.
Yeah. And his obsession with someone trying to like build a bridge and give some information to like help him out and him going, "Oh, they're lying. This woman is lying to me," and then turning around and telling the bros. It's always you trust the men.
I look, I don't get how you can be on reality television and be this unaware of like your blatant internal misogyny. I just don't get it. How do you not understand? You've been on this show for 30 days and you haven't trusted a woman once. Have you not realized it?
What I think is the funniest thing is like Catherine, he's like, I'm not sure about if Catherine's gonna vote for Will. I'm pretty sure about Vince and Zach.
Yeah.
And Catherine was like the most like, I'm voting for Will no matter what the rest of the house is doing. Like, that's the one he could trust the most, the person he could trust the most in that situation, at least. But
Yeah.
no, that's the one that he's the most nervous about what they're gonna vote. Like,
I feel like we've seen two sides of the same coin in this house. You have Keanu, who is the internalized misogyny, who I think deep down within himself doesn't realize like he's really misogynistic, but you know, that's what therapy's for. And then on the other side of that coin, you have Rylie, who's just like he's just openly super misogynistic. And it's like he's
to the point
he's
where
still
it's
here.
problematic. Like,
Yeah.
it is, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're both problematic. The
Yeah.
difference is Rylie is like gross and I hate him.
Yeah.
Keanu I also dislike, but
Keanu's is not like, Keanu's is more so just in the fact that he doesn't recognize how much he favors men over women and
yes,
how he's going
exactly.
to believe men over women. Rylie is to the point of straight up belittling women. And
Yeah.
the point, we'll get to Rylie and we'll talk a lot.
Nothing but nice things to say about Rylie, I'm sure. The thing is, last week when I was on here with Noah, I was like, Keanu was kind of fulfilling the role of Ashley to me, where it's like he is just so like unaware of what's going on that I enjoy seeing him on the show. Now it's like I feel like some of that has rubbed off. Maybe it's because Jimmy's not in power anymore, and maybe it's just because Keanu will not stop doubling down on himself. But it's like I feel like I know exactly what he's gonna do for the next 10 weeks. I feel like I've seen it. I know what he's gonna do. He's just gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about for
I get along better with the dudes because we work out together.
yeah,
That's what it is.
he's gonna be the same way that he is for 60 more days. And if he gets further in the house, it is not because of his own strengths. I mean, it might be in the sense that he wins like veto competitions, but it won't be because he suddenly became a good player. Actually, I think
if he makes it further, like that's what
exactly.
It is.
Yeah, I think is way more like she could do anything at any week. But she also has like I could see her also becoming strategic, and I could see her becoming a better player at any given week. Keanu, I cannot see that happening because he has already burned every bridge possible at least once. Then he's tried to rebuild it, and then it's been burned again. And he's like, "Well, I guess I'll just rebuild it." I don't know.
I kind of want Keanu to last longer than Jimmy, just to see what he does in that situation without.
I mean, I think the answer is he goes after Rachel still. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah.
I think if Jimmy goes or Rachel goes, then maybe Keanu will go after like ... I don't know, like Morgan, and then maybe like Ashley, somehow maybe like Kelly. I don't know. It's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So.
Now that you say it, it's not that interesting. But yeah, I'm curious to see what guy that doesn't want to work with them becomes the guy he believes is.
I mean, probably Vince right now, because Vince actively just voted against him. And Vince was like, I'm sorry, it was just, it was Zach and it was the votes. And he was like, you're good, bro. You're good. No problem. Like, we're all human. We all make mistakes, man. It's cool.
Yeah, okay. We can I'm done with Keanu if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm done. All right, let's move on to another man. Let's move on to Zach. What do we think about Zach?
I think Zach is doing really well at the game. Even though he's maybe making some choices that I don't think better his position.
Yeah.
I think that he has done well enough socially that with the way he's done well socially is being not outrageous, and attractive.
Yeah, that
And
helps.
those are his, like, I think the things that have helped his game the most is being really good at the like,
Yeah.
and flirting with girls that think he's pretty.
Yeah.
Even though those aren't necessarily people who he's aligned with, I can't really tell where Zach fully lies. I think he's playing a very similar game to Vince,
Yeah.
but has maybe more people that consider him a close. No, I don't know. I think that him and Vince are basically one and the same, except he's in several different like showmance adjacent things.
Yeah. He's the master of the situationship, which somehow I think is not necessarily hurting his game. I think the fact that Morgan has feelings for him and he has feelings for Lauren, but also maybe has feelings for Ashley. I think that helps his game, honestly, in a roundabout way.
And the thing is like each of these girls see it and they're fine with it.
Yeah.
Funny to me.
Well, that's a person that, like, it could be a close ally who doesn't want to turn on you. Now Morgan and Zach's bond is interesting because Morgan realizes that Zach doesn't like her like that, but
doesn't stop.
The problem with Big Brother is he's still around. You can't get away from him.
You're stuck in a house together.
Truly my worst nightmare. That would just be I would just quit if that happened to me. That would just be so disheartening. I will say this about Zach. He has one other thing going for him that I think is very powerful. Maybe the most powerful factor of all, even beyond the handsomeness of it all. He has a bro shield. Some may call it a meat shield, but he is the ultimate bro shield. Zay went home week 1, and for a while people were like, "Whew, we got a bro out. We don't have to worry about that anymore." And then Keanu came in, and Keanu is sort of Mr. Bro. I believe if that was his nickname, he would be happy with it. Mr. Bro, and he's like, "Yeah, the guys," and Zach's like, "Haha, yeah, man." And Keanu has sort of played the role of the ultimate guy that people want to get rid of because he's the bro and he's perpetuating the broness of the bros broing down. And I think as long as Keanu's around, Zach will not be targeted. I think everything about Keanu, the reason why people want to get rid of him is a large part because he's terrible at the game, but also a big part of it is he's this person who is unflinchingly for the guys and will not change that, and he can win competitions. And as long as he's there, Zach is in the background. But it's not just Keanu. If Keanu goes, that's cool. But there is another bro on the horizon that is also going to be taking heat for Keanu, probably sooner rather, or for Zach, probably sooner rather than later, and that is Rylie, who fulfills the exact same qualifications as Keanu, being bad at the game, being a bro, misogynistic. Those are the 3 traits you need to be a good shield to Zach. And those 2 of them have it in spades. So I think Keanu has, if nothing else, 2 people who will go home before him in any scenario. Even going beyond like Zach is a good enough player, so he'll stay up against a lot of other people also. So Zach's in a great spot. The question is just once all the bros are gone, what happens to you?
Yeah, his game sense, I haven't seen it much, and we just saw him get manipulated by Ava. So yeah. I think that once I see him flex that muscle a little bit, I maybe will be higher on him, but I kind of have a middle of the road right now. He's safe, very safe for a long time, but I don't necessarily see him winning.
He also does have the pocket like veto thing that he's
Yes.
had the whole game, which also really helps him. The question is, of course, like when do you use that? Because if you just get put on the block by God, nobody's putting him on the block. I don't even know. That's the thing. Like he probably won't have to worry about even comprehending using it for weeks, probably.
Mhm.
Even though like some people like Rylie and Catherine are like a little unhappy about him flipping or whatever, since
They have,
Vince keeps running him over with a bus. Um,
yeah, they have bigger fish to fry though before they get to that.
exactly. Especially after this week where Rylie and Catherine will probably both be put on the block. They're not going to be thinking about Zach as a target. They're going to be like, Mickey, put me up. If one of them, wins power somehow, they're putting Mickey up and Morgan up and etc. So honestly, I'm just convincing myself that, hey, maybe Zach is actually in one of the best positions in the game. Maybe. I mean,
Yeah, no, I've always said that him, Ava, and Mickey are the three best
yeah.
positioned. Not necessarily best players, but best positioned.
hmm somebody who's not in a good position right now is Catherine. Catherine. God, what do we think about Catherine?
Um, I think that Catherine is very unapologetic in their game,
Mhm.
which is fun and kind of
Yeah.
needed in such a wishy-washy cast.
Mhm.
I do not think that Catherine is going to make it too much farther, though.
Nope.
I wish the best for Catherine. I think that she's been put in some really uncomfortable positions, and to the point where, like, I think that she's doing a lot of things for her, like, just to get by of it
Sure.
all, and the game aspect of it. But like, I don't envy Catherine at all. I
No,
think that
no.
she is. I think that she has like she's smart and not like she's not crazy, but she's not necessarily the most game savvy either. So
Yeah. I think she has been forced into being between a rock and a hard place where she has this person named Rylie who is just like, I will throw my game away for you. I will not play the game and I will let you win. And it's like, if you're Catherine, you're like,
great.
okay, sure, cool. But on the other hand, in a way that forces you into a box where that means you have to, in some way be aligned with Rylie. And that has just absolutely decimated her game.
Yes, I think that she would have been better off. Like initially, you hear that and you're like, "Oh, great, I'll keep Riley around." But I
Yeah,
think
I think it
honestly,
makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think she would have been better off long term if she would have said, "No, nah,
I mean, her best move at this moment is filing a real life restraining order against Rylie and saying, you have to stay at the other side of the house at all times and I'm never interacting with you again. That would
yeah."
legitimately be her best gameplay move right now because all of a
It's like her
sudden,
best personal move.
yeah, I mean, both in real life and in the game. Um, because Catherine will not get, I mean, Rylie will not let Rylie. He will not let the concept of him and Catherine being a duo go away. He will not. He has been trying to force this narrative of the two of them being together, in a game sense, and also certainly not in a game sense, literally since the game started. And oh my god, do I feel bad for Catherine. The thing is, me and Pam were talking about this when she was on. Catherine said that she doesn't like people. And after her experience on Big Brother, who could blame her? Um, I
Yeah,
don't know.
her intro was like, "I don't want to showmance. I don't want to be around. Like men kind of suck," and
Here we
I
are.
and now you only see. I'm just like, this is only being reinforced by her experience, and it's like nothing of her own doing. It's just the fact that like Rylie just It's like, you are mine. He acts like he owns her to a point. But then also will, but it's fine because he'll give anything up for her as well. I'm like, no, that doesn't make it fine. Anyway.
I don't know if you've ever seen the show The Good Place, Addie,
Yes,
but
love it.
this is Catherine's personal bad place right now, where she is stuck in a house with 16 other people and she can't get away from them. And she is constantly being pursued by let's remember, I believe Catherine said herself that she's a radical feminist, and she is being constantly pursued by Rylie right now, and she can't get away from him. And he's like, I mean, I don't even want to talk about what Riley's been saying to her, but it hasn't been good. And Catherine just can't get away from this guy, and her opportunity at winning $750,000 is being thrown away because she can't get away from this guy.
Yeah. Catherine, I would love to see Catherine on a season without Rylie and just see because I think that honestly, I think that without him, I think she probably would be in with the girls, in not with Ashley, because Ashley and her had that tiff at the beginning, and
Yeah.
it grew into a greater, issue. But I think that she'd be working with the girls and in that side of things. And I think it would be a very different game. But she's been forced into being the one of the girls in the bros. And simply because of Rylie, and no one else wants to work with Rylie except for Keanu, basically.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing I said earlier is filing a restraining order, which is still probably true. But the best thing for Catherine is if Rylie just goes home, unironically. Because all of a sudden, basically, most of the things that are weighing you down in this game are gone. And even though, like, she still isn't socially ingrained with people and, like, still honestly isn't well liked by most of the people in the house, at least she can say, finally, that guy's gone, and now I can actually start being myself again and stuff like that. And I think if nothing else, people would give her a second chance. Maybe it might be too little, too late, but I think it would almost be in a similar position to, like, I don't know, Will, where it's like, even though Will is well liked by everybody, there's like some light at the end of the tunnel for Will. And I think there could be some light at the end of the tunnel if Rylie goes home. So
Yeah. I think that she could. I think that it might be too little, too late with Ashley, but I don't think it is with some other people.
Yeah. There's still 2 months of game left, so plenty of opportunity for things to happen.
But they have to change quick because she's in a tough spot right now.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's move on to Morgan. What do we think about Morgan?
I think that Morgan is like 3 degrees away from being Ashley.
Yeah, that is the most accurate thing I've heard in my life. That is really very true.
If Ashley wasn't there, we'd be talking about how socially unaware Morgan is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Specifically when it comes to the dudes, Vince and Zach. But that said, Ashley is there, so people aren't seeing Morgan that way as much. I think that she has some relatively good game sense whenever she takes the time to decloud the other things that go on in her mind with some of the other players. I think we've seen her in a rough week with her in a bit of a fight with Mickey, and her because of her relationships with Vince and Zach. I think that we've seen that kind of cause a bit of a rift in one of the strongest alliances that we've seen in the game so far. I think I think Morgan is gonna come out okay, but I think that it's gonna take some. I don't think she's gonna come out of this unscathed.
Yeah, I think Morgan she is an imperfect player. Um, she is she she's had this fight with Mickey, as you mentioned. That's been going on for a while. All because she got basically manipulated by was it Zach who said that? I didn't even remember. But Morgan has been going through it, and I feel bad. I she was my winner pick, and so I'm constantly like, I want Morgan to come out on the other side, and I want her to do well. But there's always like some like cloud, as you said, that's sort of blocking it, and something that there's a great deal of irony in Morgan because Morgan is perceived as being like, oh, she is this like badass, like she's this game bot, like she's so like strategic, but honestly, she's probably like the most emotional player in the house. Like emotion clouds her judgment probably more than any other player in the house. And believe me, that's saying something with this cast to some extent.
I don't think it maybe clouds it more than Rylie, but other than that,
Yeah, well, I guess that's what I should say. There's a difference between having your entire game be emotional and not having any strategy, like say a Kelly or a Riley, who are guided a lot by emotion because they have no other thoughts circulating in their brain, it feels like sometimes. Versus Morgan, who is clearly strategic, but she's very strategic, but her strategy is constantly getting clouded with emotion, while a lot of people are not like that. Like the only other person who I could say could fall into that camp is ironically Zach, but that's mostly because he was sobbing after Zay went home. That's ZAE, that's Zay, by the way, which I still think is kind of funny, but whatever. Um, but no, I really like Morgan. She's probably honestly my favorite player in the house if I'm just looking at the people. Um, it's her or Zach probably. And I think that really says more so about, sort of the rest of the cast having some imperfections or just kind of being there. I really want Morgan to do well, but every time I'm like Morgan's starting to lock in. She's starting to do well. It feels like something happened. So I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm enjoying. I think I'm enjoying Morgan being there. It's fun to have someone who is she's well rounded as like an individual,
Yes.
which
Yes.
is fun. It's not a perfect player, but she just feels very human when you're watching her because like yeah, I can understand that like I could come up with this plan XYZ good strategic move,
Hmm.
but I also sometimes have to like oh feelings exist and
Yeah.
work through how much I should let that impact what I do. And so you're seeing her in real time do that um, in a very open way, like with the cameras on her 24/7. So
I think Morgan is a pretty good Big Brother player, but I think the show that she was made for and she's destined to do well on is the challenge. I think
yeah,
that is what she is born to do because she is obviously like ripped. She's really strong. She's pretty, pretty people go in the challenge. But she's strategic, but she's also like emotionally strategic. Like that's what the challenge is built on. It's built on people's emotion. Once again, it's people living in the house and it's people's emotions and it's blah blah blah. But it's also at the end of the day about like strategy and being good at challenges, mostly the challenge thing. And I think that's what Morgan would be great at. I think she would fit in very well there. Um, she's still in Big Brother though at the moment, and yeah, so I hope she does well, but
mhm.
we'll see. All right, it's time to rip the band-aid off. It's time to talk about um, Rylie. Notice how his name is spelled Rylie because there you go. Take it away, Addie. Take
I
it.
I do not think there is not a single person on this cast that infuriates me more than Rylie. Um, the fact that he got mad at Catherine for not wanting to share a twin bed with him.
Yeah,
Literally, she says no
a
and
few times, many
several
times.
times, and he throws a hissy fit, and she's like, there's cameras everywhere. And he's like, we're just gonna cuddle. I hope that when they leave this house, she never speaks to him again, because golly, he is not a safe person.
No.
Real life, this is not a annoying in the game type of thing. This is just like, he's not a good person.
Yeah.
And yeah, he thinks that his behavior's okay because he's willing to like help her in the game. But no, that's not how that works.
No. It has been a while since I've seen somebody on reality TV that's truly disgusted me as much as Rylie has. I really can't think of the last person that's made me feel so gross deep within myself. Like in Big Brother 25, there was Cameron, and Cameron was a weird guy who people in America inexplicably loved for some reason, who was just weird and gross and weird and also pretty gross. Even Joseph from last season and Quinn, people liked them, I guess, but they were kind of weird also, in my personal opinion. But Rylie is just legitimately like, he was gross from the get-go. He was gross before we even knew who he was because of his personal life and the things in it. And I will find a certain humor in this until maybe the day I die. The fact that a weekend people were like, oh man, Rylie actually seems to know the game pretty well. Rylie actually, he knows that you don't want to go on the block because you could go on the block again. And people are like, maybe we were wrong about Rylie. Maybe he's a good player. I will never forget that. I will never forget that perception of him for a week. Because everything else since then has just, we're in a downward spiral, but I know we haven't seen the end of it. You know, like, it's going to get worse.
Yeah. I so want him to be on the block and to go home.
Yes.
In an embarrassing way.
Well, you know what the embarrassing way is going to be. I'll call my shot right now. He's going to be on the block next to Catherine, and they're going to make their pitches, and Catherine's going to be like, I want to stay because I want to be here, blah, blah, blah. And they're going to get to Rylie, and he's like, I want to go. Catherine should stay. I want to go because I want to do it for her. And then he'll go home in a unanimous vote or something, and then he'll be like, I'll see you on the other side. We'll get in touch. I'll find you. And she's like, haha, yeah, man. And then he goes to Julie and he's sobbing, and then we see the exit messages or whatever, and everybody's just trashing him, Catherine included, and it will be amazing.
See, I don't want him to have that feeling of his righteous, like, knight in shining armor feeling of, I went home instead of Catherine. So I want it to be him against someone else. And we still see the main Catherine exit.
Him against Kelly. Oh, that'd be so funny.
He goes home against Kelly.
Yes. That would be truly embarrassing.
And we still
for his self. Yeah.
And then we still see Catherine be like, glad you're gone.
Yes. You know what? That'd be pretty great. I think both scenarios are great, because in one he goes home against Kelly. Hilarious. To me, I still think him going to Julie and him thinking that he was this hero to this poor defenseless woman or whatever he's thinking, because he's thinking that. And then him just getting that stripped away in front of everybody. I can't wait for him to go home. I need it to happen. I need it. I need that to happen.
I am so glad that Mickey bamboozled him and took his power.
Thank God.
I'm just ready for him to oh my gosh. I don't get how he's so delusional as well.
Yeah.
In the fact that he thinks that Catherine's interested.
I don't get it.
I don't know how.
I don't think Catherine has ever. I think the most she's ever said to quote unquote, and I'm making these quotes as loud as possible because she has not. She really has just said, "Haha, yeah, man," to every single, to at most to everything Rylie said. If not, get away from me. Like Catherine has been like once again, she's been stuck between a rock and a hard place this entire season because at the end of the day, this is still a show where you have to, work together with people and get further in the game. And it's like this guy is offering his entire game up on a silver platter for you. It's no, I can't fault her for being like, yeah, I'm gonna be into that. Like that's just how you play the game. But Rylie has said multiple times he's not here to play Big Brother. He's here to be on a dating show, but he's not good enough to be on a dating show. So he's,
I hope he never goes on a dating show.
I don't think he will at this point. I think people are going to blacklist him after this.
I think his best bet to get on something else would be House of Villains, and I don't even think he could do that.
No way he's getting on House of Villains.
No,
because House of Villains...
You have to be entertaining to get on House of Villains.
You have to be entertaining, and you have to have any name recognition. Rylie going him 4th overall in Big Brother 27 is not going to get him on House of Villains. It's going to get him... He will sooner get on a blacklist from any reality show, every reality show, than to get on another one, legitimately. Unless it's Farmer Wants a Wife.
I think that's what he thought Big Brother was.
Yeah, maybe. I have to wonder, like, what he thought he was signing up for. I guess he truly thought it was like a bunch of people live in a house, and anything can happen. No, it's stupid.
He's not only is he misogynistic, which he is extremely, like I said, in a more harmful way. Like Keanu's misogyny is like.
I've met a million people like Keanu who have just like. Who just are that.
Just like unawareingly misogynistic in a way that's not actively hurting an individual, more so just hurting.
It's bad, but you've seen it before. Like it's
not like I'm scared to be around you bad.
Exactly. Yes.
Rylie's is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be around Rylie. I don't. I can only imagine how Catherine feels every single day waking up knowing that Rylie's going to profess his love to her for the 10 millionth time.
I just imagine Rylie sleeping and he's just there breathing on her. Like,
can we talk about Rachel now? I don't want to talk about
it. Let's get over. Yeah.
Well, Rachel is not on here. Zay is.
That's what I was about to say. Where's Rachel?
Zay is, of course, Rachel's greatest enemy ever. So that means that we're talking about Rachel now. Unless you have something to say about Zay, but no.
Zay has blonde hair.
True. Great, we can move on. Rachel, I think, is in a weird position in this game. But I would like to get your thoughts on it. What do you think about Rachel?
I knew who Rachel was going into this, not because of Big Brother, but because of The Amazing Race, and Traitors.
Yep.
But I, like Keanu, had seen a couple clips of her, and that's where on Big Brother, that's where my kind of opinion came from.
Yeah.
I've been pleasantly surprised. I expected to not enjoy Rachel, but she's been like game-wise level-headed outside of a few moments and then like socially pretty level-headed, had a few moments where it was like, yeah, she had the like crown queen thing with Zay, and she has the whole shirt bit with Jimmy. But other than that, like she's just there, and she is strong-willed and is going to push her way. But not in a way that is like bullying, like some people have said, or like super probably like she's not been the Rachel Rylie I expected like only knowing the legend of Rachel Riley coming into watching the show, but she's been, I just really enjoy her. I think that she's in a medium position. I think she makes jury. I don't think she wins.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Rachel's game is interesting because I think that she is not allowed to have an ally openly, but a lot of people still want to work with her. I think after Amy went home, a lot of people, myself included, would think, I don't want to openly be on the same page as Rachel, because as soon as people realize that, then they'll cut me off, or at least they'll cut her out of the game because we can't have Rachel Riley having friends or whatever. But then again, a lot of people still want to work with her on the down low. You have Ava who wants to work with her. You have Jimmy who wants to work with her. You have
Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley for sure. It's weird. It's weird because Rachel is still in a good position, but I think it is a position that will gradually get worse and worse over time naturally. I don't see her getting in a stronger position. Because I think as soon as she gets into, she kind of pokes her head out of the water for a minute, she's gonna get slammed on the head. Kind of like whack-a-mole or something. I think she is destined to make jury, and I do think that's about it. And if she makes the end, I think she's losing. Basically against anybody unless she magically starts working with Keanu, which
she tried to.
He will not let happen. So that's not happening. But yeah, Rachel, I think people said from the jump that it's like, yeah, I want Rachel on jury because she will respect my game or whatever else. And I think that's why she hasn't been put on the block yet. I truly think it goes back to that. And she said from the jump, I would lose to people in the final two, so you can bring me along. I'm an easy number. And sort of like some other people we've talked about, I think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I think, yeah, the more you say that, the more true it will become. So, yeah.
I think it's okay for you to float that idea once or twice to where it's in people's head, but then you got to stop.
Yeah.
Where people forget about it, but are still working with you.
Yeah.
And I think that she's saying it a little too much.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the problem with Rachel is that she is, older now, she's wiser now. But at the end of the day, she's still Rachel Riley, and she still has that Rachelness about her that you see in The Amazing Race, and you see on those clips that you see on Old Big Brother, and you see on Worst Cooks in America, Heroes versus Villains, where it's like, even when she's not, like, when she's trying to be subtle, she's still Rachel Riley, and she's still naturally sort of disliked by quite a few people on the cast. She's just kind of a polarizing personality, just in the way that she is. Whether that's fair or not, it's just how people perceive her.
Yeah, she's pretty medium liked on this cast, and I think that she's even talked about how this is the most liked she's been on a show,
which is saying something because people still don't love her. You know what I mean? It's not like she's Ava or something where people's like, Rachel, hi Rachel. It's much more of the bonds she have feel more strategic in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
They feel strategic with the strategic people and maybe not strategic with the not strategic people, which is good. It's good, but I don't see it. I don't see her getting to the end that way. I just don't.
Yeah, so. Her early off closest personal bonds were with Keanu, who he has his whole internalized misogyny thing to where he's not going to work with her strategically, even if they have good personal relationship conversations.
Yeah.
And with Amy, who's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So,
frankly, her best shot is getting carried to the end by Ava and having her get cut off, and then her just being left to pick up the scraps. That is her best chance of winning, which is kind of the way it seems to be going at the moment. She's under the radar, like it or not. I just think once you get rid of the Catherines and the Rileys and the Kellys of the world, it's like, all right, well, who's the next biggest threat? Well, Rachel's always right there.
Mm-hmm.
She's always going to be an option as long as she's there, because she can't fade into the background because
she's a winner.
Rachel Riley. So, And she's also returning, but also because she's Rachel Rylie. So yeah.
I think that if Rachel has any chance of making it to the end and having votes, she needs to win HOH and get rid of the likable people. Like just win HOH a lot and get rid of the likable people, which I actually don't think she's going to do. I think that she is going to keep her allies with her.
I mean, she's going hard after Vince right now, which I think it's a good idea for her to want to get rid of Vince because everybody thinks Vince is a number for them. It's one less person that is probably aligned with her or something like that. I think it's good for her to want to get rid of Vince. It's just I find it difficult to actually see him going home. Honestly, I think it'll take a while before people have Vince on their radar. While I think Rachel, if somebody nominates her, people will all of a sudden be like, "Oh, we can get rid of Rachel at any time."
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Ava may be in a final 2 with her, but I don't think she's sacrificing her game for Rachel.
No,
I don't see it happening. So
I think that with Rachel and Vince, I think that the best thing that Rachel can expect putting up Vince is to turning Vince into a pawn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that she's going to get him sent home. It would be a slow process. I think that she could turn him into a pawn, into someone. No one's going to get rid of Vince. They'll put him up for the umpteenth time, and then eventually he goes home. But she puts him up the first time. People are outraged initially, and it goes out as a unanimous vote for the other person.
Yeah.
At this point,
I agree with all of that. Okay. Do you have any other thoughts, Addie, on anything at all in the world?
Yeah, I am enjoying Big Brother. I think that what I'm enjoying the most is less the Big Brother of it all and more so the conversations I'm having with people about Big Brother. The community of it has been really enjoyable. I did 2 different drafts and those have been fun. Kelly's on my team on both of them.
Oh.
One of my teams is just Kelly and Keanu, so that one's going great.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so but it's fun to have conversations and be like, or to like get a message in something and be like, did you see what happened on the feeds? Like that's fun. Big Brother itself is just kind of another reality show that is fun and enjoyable for the most part.
Yeah.
But it's not like, it's not my favorite. I don't not like it. But
yeah, that's kind of how I feel. But you know what? I will keep watching and I will keep doing these podcasts as long as I feel like it. So yeah, you heard me, Julie Chen Nunez. You have to keep the show going and you have to keep it enjoyable for me to keep doing my podcast. So,
okay.
There you go.
I've been loving Julie. I think that she's a great host. Because it's also, I love when because she's so structured and to the point and dry in the delivery of things. And then every now and then a little joke. And you're like, and it's so shocking that you're like,
what's going on?
Do that?
It's a full moon. It's a blue moon. Truly once in a blue moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Coming from a world of journalism and like doing that whole thing, you can tell that she was molded by like being an anchor before she became like a reality TV show host. It's not like Jeff Probst where this is just like a guy who became a host and has been doing that for a while. It's like you can tell Julie came from a world of like reading the teleprompter a certain way and like delivering things very like astutely and news-like because that's how she does it. There's a reason why she's called Chenbot. Like she does it like she's reading the afternoon news, which I think is kind of enjoyable.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right. Well, anyways, Addie, thank you so much for joining this episode of Seeing the Good Moves Lately. I hope you, the audience at home, enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.